Hello and good morning. I hope that worked. Good morning. I'm pleased to be part of the launch of the Deaf Elimu banking app. My gratitude goes to Kenya Bankers Association for putting together this launch and for inviting me to speak. I also extend my appreciation to the Financial Sector Deepening, FSD Kenya, and Deaf Elimu Plus Limited for their partnership with KBA on this project. The choice of date for this launch is apt, being a day before the world commemorates the International Day of Persons with Disability. And I really want to single out a few people that have been carrying out or really doing the heavy lifting in terms of making this possible. Of course, I mentioned Tamara, I mentioned FSD, but as part of that, we have Nuru Mugambi, who has really been a sort of a prime mover in that space in KBA. We obviously have talked about Hudson. Hudson, amazing what you've done. And I think I would want to have half your spirit, If I get a full measure of your spirit, that's good. But if I get half, I'm doing very well. And of course, others, Catherine, Nasiran, Irene, Barry, Kirika, Henry Kilonzo, of course, our partners in many ways. And of course, for this presentation, we also welcome Bruce Curran from Stanford University, but these are principal people that have been with us. I failed to mention Caro Karaoke at the beginning, and I'm sorry that that was an omission on my part. So Caro, we are grateful to you and also what you've done with the rest of the private sector representatives. I note with appreciation that my sentiments 1 year ago during the launch of the Persons with Disability Digital Access report were duly considered and executed. I challenge the participants to provide tailor-made financial products that meet the needs of persons with disabilities. I'm informed that 31 commercial banks have submitted their roadmaps on how they intend to implement the recommendations made in the report. It's therefore exciting to be here today to launch an app that is going to revolutionize banking for the hearing impaired. The World Health Organization estimates that 5% of the world's population, that is some 430 million people, are living with disabling hearing loss. This number is envisaged to grow to over 700 million by 2050. Of this population, about 80% are people living in developing countries. In Kenya, of the 900,000 persons with disability, 150,000 are living with hearing loss. This is a significant population who are likely to be sidelined due to the non-exclusivity of our systems. In Kenya, we pride ourselves in achieving 82.9% financial inclusion. However, only 0.5% of persons with disabilities are part of these statistics. I think that is worth just absorbing. It is a significant sort of inequity that is revealed in those statistics. So this brings me to the barriers locking out people living with disabilities from the financial system. It is interesting to note that these barriers are rudimentary. They include negative attitude, misunderstandings by both financial institutions as well as their clients living with disabilities, unfavorable infrastructure such as lack of ramps and having to endure long queues. It's therefore within our reach to break these barriers and bring all persons with disabilities to the formal financial system. Allow me now to focus on the reasons why it is paramount for the banking sector to deal with these constraints and pave way for persons with disabilities to access financial services. First, it's our responsibility to ensure that we continually put people's needs at the core of banking business. This is one of the commitments that financial institutions made through the adoption of the Kenya Banking Sector Charter, issued in 2019. Customer centricity, which is the first pillar of the charter, not by accident, but by design, should be at the heart of product development. Over the last few years, financial institutions are increasingly tailoring their products and services to the needs of their customers. This was especially the case during the period that we have been dealing with the coronavirus pandemic. However, much more needs to be done, particularly in segmenting the markets deeper to understand the needs of persons with disabilities. I'm glad that this is already happening with the development of the Deaf Elimu banking app. Second, we are on the road towards ensuring shared prosperity for all by 2030, ingrained in the Sustainable Development Goals, the SDGs. This will only be achieved through building sustainable and inclusive communities that foster inclusion and equitable opportunities for all. It is now widely appreciated that businesses can only be as successful as the societies they operate in and draw their existence from. Environmental, social, and governance, ESG considerations, are now paramount in any organization's strategy and operations. In this regard, ensuring that persons living with disabilities have the same opportunities to access financial services is an obligation that we have to step up to. In this regard, I have a story that I have learned a lot from. One of our staff members in their previous employment had a group of 30 people that were reporting to him. And they had two persons that were deaf, with disabilities in their hearing. And it was obviously a key concern bringing that person in, or those two people into the team. And what they did was to actually learn sign language. The entire team, all 30 of them, they all learned to bring these two people into their team to make them better members, etc. And the surprising thing is how much they got from this project of just learning together the sign language. Of course, productivity and all those other things were increased, but that was not the important thing. The most important thing is that they now had two full members that would otherwise have been sidelined. And these members brought in, these staff members, they brought in their expertise, knowledge, and indeed their comparative advantage in the things they do. And that to me is somewhat of a microcosm of what can happen in the entire industry and indeed the entire country. And the third point I wanted to mention is that the Kenyan banking sector is known for its leading role in an array of areas, ranging from innovation to supporting broader societal good, including in education, health, and the environment. This has spilled over to the East African region and beyond, where Kenyan banks are expanding their footprint. In the same breath, the banking sector should also lead in advancing inclusion of persons with disabilities. Let me take this opportunity to implore upon the other, to urge other players in Kenya, as well as in the region, to follow this path. This will move as a step closer towards achieving shared prosperity for all. The Central Bank of Kenya is also walking the talk. We are in various initiatives in support of persons with disabilities. More specifically, Central Bank of Kenya supports St. Kizito Latin School for the Deaf. And I will pause here for a brief video clip on this initiative.
And therefore, they are really impressed by the drawings. And so many of them actually have responded. Initially, they would be idle for most of the times, but they really enjoy, sliding, swinging, and merry-go-round.
So the school looks so beautiful. The dorms around where we eat, kila mahali, very smart. Yeah, even the teaching itself is very smart. I find all they enjoy watching the pictures around. We have the bicycles drawn on the walls. At the same time, we have the pictures drawn everywhere. We thank you, we thank God for the provision through Central Bank of Kenya, who helped them to help us in different ways.
Thank you very much, technical people. And yes, it's an amazing video. And I think I've learned a lot from the children of that school. For instance, I've learned that this is my name in sign language. And I don't remember how they came up with it, but that is me. And I've also learned other things. And actually, one of the things I challenged them when they visited us is that I am governor, the 9th governor of the Central Bank of Kenya. I challenged them that the 12th governor of the Central Bank of Kenya would be one of them. So, and they actually took up that challenge. So let's see, they are coming. The school came to the limelight, as they said in the video, when they won one of CBK's sponsored categories during the 2019 Kenya Music Festival. As indicated in the clip, we have completed a number of infrastructure developments at the school. This includes construction of a dormitory, renovation works for their classes, as well as provision of water storage tanks. And I really want to thank the various commercial banks that also contributed to this effort back in 2016, 2017. As I draw to a close, we are collectively taking the right steps. However, this is just a starting point. Let us endeavor to incorporate the needs of all categories of persons with disabilities in the banking sector. Indeed, a society is at its best when it leaves no one behind. I know there are 100 phrases in this app today. And for most spoken languages, the target for a beginner is 250 to 500 words. With 1,000 to 3,000 words, you can carry on a regular conversation. Now, I don't know how that translates to sign language, phrases, but particularly phrases for banking. But my challenge to you is to continue working steadfastly so as to improve the scope of this app, to make it more useful for all. It's now my distinct pleasure to declare the Deaf Elimu banking application officially launched. Thank you, and have a good day.